welcome to Seeing Through Glass. Now, I'm fully aware in 2024, telling you which Ferrari to buy may come across as being a little bit tone deaf or out of touch. I know that for most of us, just paying the mortgage and the monthly bills is stressful enough. But let's pretend like you were considering buying a Ferrari. I passionately believe the 488 is the Ferrari that you should buy in 2024. Right, let me kickstart my explanation as to why I think this is the Ferrari that you should be buying this year. I guess in the most logical place, which is price. Here in the UK, if you want to buy yourself a 488, the cheapest cars you're going to find are going to be around 125 grand. But right now, there's a 488 for sale at a Ferrari dealer, meaning that it qualifies for the Ferrari approved used program, which includes warranty, for just 132 grand. Now, I know it's a bit silly to say just 132 grand, but let's not forget new car prices these days, which seem to all be over 100 grand. And the fact that the 488 is not even 10 years old yet. I think the car listed for sale is a 2016, making it around 8 years old. And on paper, these things definitely still hold their own against most modern day supercars. Out here on the public road, you don't need any more performance than what this offers. So for 132 grand, which isn't too much more than a new M5, you're getting a full-blooded Ferrari experience. It starts to look like even more of a sort of bargain when you then look at 458 prices. Now, if you look on the internet, it feels like most people have decided that the 458 is the car you should be buying at the moment, not the 488. That's the last true superstar from Maranello, the naturally aspirated glory. But the internet's wrong, I believe. But because everyone seems to just hold that car in such high regard, values for the 458 have remained pretty strong. And if you wanted to get one of those through the Ferrari approved used program, you'd have to pay around 125 grand. And there are a gazillion reasons why someone should pay the extra 7 grand for one of these instead of a 458. Now, sadly, I actually don't have that much time to make this video today. I'm not going to bore you with the details, but life's a little bit hectic at the moment, both on a work front and on a personal front. And so, yeah, this isn't going to be my kind of usual adventure style video. Instead, it's going to be more of a kind of one take, a bit like an episode of Behind the Glass, my podcast, meets a main channel Seen Through Glass video. I have to give a huge shout out to one of my viewers, Matt, who has very kindly lent me his car for this video on very short notice. Literally, I started speaking to him like 36 hours ago. So Matt, you're a legend. I found a nice kind of triangular road section just near Matt's house. We're just going to go around it a few times, and I'm going to ramble on and share my thoughts, because I have been thinking this about the 488 for a while. That it's the one to have, that it's being overlooked. One of my all-time favorite Seen Through Glass experiences, one of my greatest Ferrari memories, was driving a 488 from the Ferrari factory in Maranello back here to the UK for the Coventry Motor Show. It was like a 3 or 4 day adventure, one of the first times I properly worked with Ferrari, and I absolutely fell in love with the 488. I mean, you can probably understand why. But we did mountain passes, we did the Autobahn, lived in it, as I say, long days on that trip. Then I had it for the weekend during the motor show. My wife Vicky came up and met us, we took it out for dinner. I was like, this is perfect. One day, never quite happened, and obviously history tells us I ended up with a Citroen Stradale instead, so a different kind of dream. But yeah, this thing is just spectacular. And as I was saying, I believe there are a gazillion reasons as to why you should buy one of these things over a 458, especially if the price difference is as little as 7 grand. One of those reasons, of course, is just the raw performance. Like I said, this thing can genuinely compete with modern day supercars. Makes like 660 odd horsepower, 750 newton meters of torque, 0 to 60 is like 3 seconds. These all sound like modern day stats. And the stat that always blows my mind is the 0 to 200 kilometers an hour or 0 to 125 miles an hour, which is 8.3 seconds. I mean, it's faster than an Aventador SV, faster than a 650S. It's like 2 seconds faster than an F40, which is of course the last turbocharged mid-engine Ferrari prior to this thing coming out. On the road, it is ballistic speed. It's actually so much speed, Ferrari had to kind of rein it back. They were like, we think our customers will kill themselves. So they peg torque in the first 3 gears. All of this is actually to aid to the car feeling like it's got a naturally aspirated engine. I think Ferrari were aware that people would be a bit irked by the fact that they were downsizing, doing forced induction. So they really wanted the actual behind the wheel experience to feel as normal as it could. And you know, lots of manufacturers had claimed up until that point that they'd eradicated turbo lag. And you know, since this car, lots of people have claimed they've eradicated turbo lag. But for me, Ferrari were the first to really nail it. This genuinely feels like a naturally aspirated car. It is mad, but a really, really powerful one that just pulls you down the road at insane speed. I mean, genuinely, like I'm going to be in 5th gear now at like 2,000 RPM. Yeah, I mean, we're already basically breaking the speed limit. It is mad, and it makes the car so enjoyable and easy to drive fast on the road. Like, bit of wheel spin there. Matt, if I have to send you some new tyres, please let me know. But yeah, I've got the bumpy road mode on, which is good because I seem to be driving on a completely sort of serrated surface. I don't know what's going on here. But it is so amazing because it's got all the kind of modern day Ferrari usability, but it still has a little bit of that kind of analog charm. It's the perfect bridge between the 458 and now what we know of as a mid-engine Ferrari. So yes, the F8 and the 296. There's so much character with this thing still. Can you hear it on the downshifts? The one thing which I really love about this car is the gearbox. Yes, it's a 7-speed dual clutch, but there's so much feel in the changes. These days, manufacturers are just desperate to dial out any kind of feel. They want it to be as smooth and as supple as possible, but I think that loses some character, some connection with the car when you start driving it fast. This thing absolutely thuds you still, but it's so quick and instant, and these massive carbon shift paddles are so nice, and the minute you pull one, it's like ba-doom, ba-doom. And look, let's get into it, the sound, because people love to hate on the 488 for so many reasons. And yes, the whole fact that Ferrari had downsized the iconic 4.5 litre naturally aspirated V8 into this 3.9 litre unit and then turbocharged it. Beyond one, what is going on? What has the world come to? Ferrari have just really ruined this. And then they heard the way it sounded and people were like, but come on, people. I mean, hindsight's a wonderful thing, but let's consider what modern day supercars sound like. This thing, it's the bomb. I mean, it sounds so good. Admittedly, this particular car does have an aftermarket exhaust. Let's enjoy that to the fullest for a second. Window cracked. 2nd gear in race mode, bumpy road mode back on. Is what I would say. People complained that the 488 was muted, that it lacked the symphony of its predecessors. And okay, fine. Does it sound anything like my Challenge Stradale? No. The 430 Scud? No. The 458? No. It's a very different noise, but I think it's got so much tone and personality. It really changes through the rev range. It really rewards you as you drive on. And as I say, comparatively, compared to an F8 which had the particulate filters, the 296 which has every particulate filter in the world and obviously is now a hybridized smaller engine. Oh yeah, I've always loved the way this car sounds. When you're on the outside you can hear 488s coming from miles away and you can hear them working their way through that range. You're like, okay, that guy's going fast or slow or whatever it might be. It is just, oh. See, I know people love to slag it off, but for me, I really enjoy the tonal quality of this car. Now, I don't want to be rude here, but we are going to launch this 1 Series. Hold on. Whoa! Those gear shifts, I'm addicted to those gear shifts. Just Matt did encourage me to enjoy this car. I am trying to be respectful, but it's quite hard to stay respectful when this thing is that good. And because of the torque and that instant throttle response, you can just maneuver the car in the corner, you can just work it as you head down the road, and then this supple ride. There's so many positives. Okay, let's think of some negatives. Actually, let's think of some negatives if we meet some traffic. We've got a clear section of road. Let's hunker on. The brakes are ace. And just that Ferrari steering, which is quick and light, but precise. There you go, look, coming into this section. Oh yes. The brakes, the warmer they get, the better they get. But yeah, negatives. Okay, so hold on a sec. Looks-wise, I will admit, I think the 488 is quite soft looking. Of course, it was an evolution of the 458, and then the F8 came after it, but just a bit sort of bulbousy. I think it's quite spec dependent, where the 458 is very angular and quite iconic looking, and the F8 far more, or far closer to the modern sort of design language that we've come to know. So yeah, it looks newer. This thing, yeah, I mean, it's got lovely carbon everywhere on this particular car, LED shift panels, all that coming together and aiding it. What else don't I like? The thing is, it's good, we've got these actual physical buttons. You know how much I hate the new sort of, haptic touch steering wheel. This goes back to that kind of old formula and old layout. 2 switches either side. We've got the analog central rev dial, and then 2 screens either side, bumpy road mode. It feels spacious, the cabin. If you get in a 458 now, it does feel a little bit old and a little bit cramped. And that car's very darty. This thing is just easy to just be smooth. And actually, that's what I like about this car. Yes, it's insane performance, but look, if I just take things all a bit easier, you can work your way through the gears, you can be rewarded for driving a Ferrari, you can make a soundtrack, you can pull the pedals, and not always be going absolutely insane. This car came with Ferrari's Side Slip 2, or Slide Slip Control 2. It's essentially the system that allows you to get a little bit of a wiggle on, out on the road or out on track without ending up in the gravel or the ditch. I think nowadays Ferrari are at like Side Slip 7 or something outrageous, so this was an early system, but it does just allow you to feel like a bit of a driving god. Don't think that this car won't try to kill you on a wet day, or if you've got cold tyres, it will bite. You do have to treat it with respect. Are you getting it, people? Like, this is so good. Honestly, if I hadn't gone down the Challenge Stradale route, I really think I would have been considering one of these, and I wouldn't consider a 458. I know even Chris Harris came out saying, surely we should all be looking at these cars, but no, Chris, it's the 488. And this car's just demonstrating, if you just put some pipes on, it helps the car just sing and shout even better. It's going to be hard to give this one back, but we're already running a little bit late. So I think one more little pull or launch out of here. Oncoming traffic, probably a good thing. Yeah, people, I know we're not all sitting at home thinking of buying Ferraris, but we need to be thinking about buying 488s, because at some point, people are going to start cottoning onto this thing. How correct is Matt's plate, by the way? I hope you can see that. Too fun. I mean, this car is too fun. But you know what? Once people start to, think about 488s, a few things will happen. Either the values will start to pick up once again and they will no longer look like relative bargains, or they will continue to drop like 360 did and become so relatively affordable comparatively to other Ferraris, they don't get looked after so well. because these things aren't that old, because they were sold with service packs and warranties and things like that, they're all in fairly good nick. Don't forget these cars would have been well over 200 grand once spec'd. It's been quite well looked after. The minute Ferraris start to fall below 100 grand, people start to think, oh, I could do a bit of that work myself, or I'll just take it to my local garage, and maybe never worked on Ferraris before. And then it becomes harder and harder to find the good ones. So that's why I feel like this is the time, this is the moment. It's not just because they represent good value, it's because there's some good ones out there. There's quite a few to choose from. They're well spec'd, they're usually well maintained, and they are proper, legit, incredible on the road performance. I imagine very good fun on the track, and still give you a sense of that slightly old school Maranello charm and glamour. So yeah, seem to have picked a little busy moment to park up, and the wind is picking up, so I think we'll call it there. 25 minutes later than I needed to finish, but still pretty spectacular few hours. I hope you've enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up if you have, and let me know your thoughts. Have I convinced you that if you were out there shopping to get a 488 instead of a 458, or are you still all 458 devotees?